Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Agency Operators Podcast. Today, I'm joined by Alex Karagiannis of Lezzat. I hope I got that right.
You did, you did. Nice to see you, Basil.
Yeah, thank you, Alex, for joining. I'm really excited to chat with you. I know you have run your agency for quite some time, and also you guys are really focused on the other side of the pond. I'm over here on the, I'm in the U.S., and you guys cover a lot of Europe. Um,
Right.
so different perspective over there. I think even though they're both Amazon, it's a little bit of a different world. So I'm excited to talk to you about the differences between the two and kind of the trends that you guys are seeing from over there. But before we dive in, I'd love to hear your story. How did you and why did you start Lezzat? And what's the journey that kind of got you to start your own agency?
Okay, right. So I'll try and keep it short in terms of how it was created. But basically, it was one of those cases that many things happened at once. So I was getting fired from my previous job. I was breaking up with the girlfriend I had at the time, and they were kicking me out of the house I was living in because they were selling it. So long story short, I basically had no job, no place to stay, etc. So I was like, right, what do I really want to do? Do I want to be continuing doing B2B marketing for big companies or do my own thing? Someone told me about a priest that was selling on Amazon and making 6 million selling Tupperware, and I'm like, if a priest can do it, for sure I can do it because I've studied degrees and business degrees and so on. So that's how I started. I did a very old school course, which was for $20, but it was very on to the point. It was a great course, and then that's the made me start. And essentially, I started as a seller, and then a year after, I created an agency. It was my way of basically being able to go from UK to Greece and spend some more time in Greece. First 2 years, I was doing a bit of everything: Amazon SEO, Google Ads, the whole thing. Things were not going very well. And then all of a sudden, someone told me, "Can you help us with Amazon?" And I'm like, "Why would you need this?" And then I remember the pain that I had to go through selling on Amazon, ungating, hazmat, FBA, all those things. And I'm like, yeah, you need an expert here. So everything shifted in one day. All those PowerPoints, website, Wix website, all of those things got thrown to the bin. And since then, which is 7 years ago, 5 years ago to be exact, was we moved only as an Amazon full service agency. So we only do Amazon, and I think we do it quite well.
Amazing. And you guys are not just doing the operations, but also handling, like you said, some of the more serious cases like suspensions and,
Everything.
yeah, everything. So that's
Yeah,
great.
it's look when so we work with startups that have VC backing all the way to Fortune 500 and so on. They need someone who's just responsible for Amazon. So we become their Amazon department, right? We help them with their sales, advertising, growing the sales, suspensions, appeals, account health, restocking, expanding from UK to Europe. If we need to get other partners involved, let's say on compliance side or legal side, we have a very good ecosystem of professional companies that we work with that help us actually bring value to our clients. So we become their Amazon department essentially. So
Hmm.
that's how we like to think of ourselves.
Yeah. And people, I think, don't really realize. I mean, once they become Amazon sellers, I think they quickly do realize, but so much of this is just the compliance piece and just like kind of understanding what Amazon really wants. And the truth is that over the years, I mean, I've been a seller for 14 years and I've
Wow.
watched the ecosystem develop quite a lot. And
Yeah.
they don't tell you whenever they're rolling stuff out. I mean, sometimes they'll tell you, oh, there's a new fee or there's these changes. But on the internal regulation side, oh, there's a new keyword in this category that we don't like nobody tells you that. You just find out the hard way and then you have to deal with cases. And so nobody kind of tells you coming into Amazon like you're going to need somebody who's like full-time responsible. So most of the people that come to us, like we're not specialized in reinstatements, although actually just before I got on this call, we got a reinstatement for a listing that we've been fighting Amazon for weeks. So we end up having to do it anyway. Just we have a dedicated case support person.
Yeah.
We do have somebody that we refer to for the really hard stuff like account suspensions. I don't think we've ever done an account suspension,
Yeah.
but yeah, so much of our time is actually taken not just by ads and content, but that.
Yeah, true. And but that's probably the one of the top three, I would say, thorns that clients have, brands have when it's selling on Amazon is listing goes down. I contacted Amazon, I panic, I contact them and again, nothing happens. Can you help us? Because obviously it's they cost us money, expiration dates, IPI score is not performing very well, fees, remove the inventory from Amazon. I've seen a lot of cases, and actually we've supported a lot of cases to get those things going. Ideally, don't want to go there in the first place. So what Amazon has been better at, actually, because we're always going to hear the bad side, but something that is actually better at is they didn't used to give you warnings. It used to be like, "Bah, you're right."
Hmm.
But now there's a tendency to also give you warnings. So better sellers have good account health, and the price like you've got 30 days to do this. Otherwise, you're going to get taken down. So, but the issue is a lot of the times those emails go to the owner who already gets like, I don't know, 20 or 30 emails from Amazon because they never really checked which notifications are important or not, which they delete. So if they don't have a dedicated person or if it's a big account and agency, if you look after that, it's going to go unnoticed. So it's going to fly below the radar, which has happened actually. One of our clients, they're doing around 600,000 to 700,000 per month in cosmetics on Amazon USA. That exact thing happened. Amazon told them in 30 days, we're going to take your listing down, the bestseller, which is about 70% of the revenue, if you don't do this. And it was something easy. It was something like just a piece of paperwork. I don't know. It was a compliance site. They already had it. And then the owner didn't see it. Their in-house team that they have in USA didn't see it because it wasn't on account health. It was on performance notifications, and they didn't have a SOP to check these regularly. We went in because we're supporting them in Canada. So we're just trying to prove ourselves like, look, we can grow yourselves in Canada. And then if we do this, we can also bring you in UK and Europe. So they're testing it out. So hopefully we're going to get that business. But then this happened is like, guys, can you help us with USA? And then we had to troubleshoot it and we saw that. So yeah, 100%. This is a very big issue for sellers. And it's constantly evolving, as you say, right? Nowadays, even roofers can automatically change your listing. Amazon says, I'm going to change your listing. So accept it or not accept it. So then God knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think the frustrating thing is that most people, they run into a situation where they're repeating the case over and over again and waiting until they get somebody competent. I will say that over the years also, I've noticed that case responses have gotten a little bit better. I don't know if it's because AI is getting better, or maybe they have better people, or maybe because they're implementing systems, like you said, to prevent too much flood of uh, inquiries. So maybe their resource management is better. I'm not sure.
Yeah, all of these are definitely playing a role. And also, look, there was a very big emphasis about 10, 11 years ago for Amazon to completely outsource the complete customer service
Right.
to India, like completely. And then that obviously brought some benefits, but also some issues because it created, in my opinion, a very robotic method of replying to all these thousands and thousands of messages because Amazon just kept growing and growing. But probably the method that they had to deal was not for that volume of messages,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then that created another issue, which is not based on location or anything. It's based on, well, that team setup that you wanted to do is not enough. It might work for companies doing telecommunication or something else, but it's not going to work for this. So, and that, I'm sure you know some cases of legal action that people have actually filled in, because there are cases when, when you're not replying to these things and my product expires and then it's ruined, well, guess what? There's lawsuits that happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's serious money on the table, right? There's
A lot.
there's sellers who are selling, I mean, 8-figure, 9-figure sellers. Every single hour makes a big difference. So,
Absolutely.
and then you're just relying on like a entry level case support person. I
It's
mean,
not going to
if
happen.
you have
No,
such a large account, you probably have a dedicated person who's getting like a
it's
nice
not going to
salary.
change. No,
But
no,
yeah,
no.
they still have an escalations team that they're sending it to.
Exactly. And then the other thing is, the funny thing is, there's even a subscription where you pay to basically on Amazon. I don't remember the name of the team now.
SAS,
Is it SaaS?
SAS Core.
that they basically say, look, our customer support is really bad, okay, for sellers. Our seller support is really bad. So you don't have to deal with them. You can come to us. So, but you have to pay us $400 or whatever it is per month to have access to this team. And every single client that I've seen that has done this, every single one has told me didn't do any difference. We still have the same issues, exactly the same issues. So it's like you're trying to resell an existing broken service to upsell it to other people as if it's going to be fixed, yet it's not fixed. And I guess back to your point, this is why, just having one person, how can one person manage Amazon? I always tend to say to clients, like, it's like having a business that does 9 figures and you say to one person, manage my website. What? Advertising, SEO, the cybersecurity, the optimization, the mobile, the backend, the front end. It becomes such a complex beast that you need all these different expertise, really, which are constantly up to date, constantly learning. There's ongoing trainings to get AI, to get the new, all of these things, to be able to keep up with everything and obviously deliver good results.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have the same kind of perspective, and in our agency, you just see like the model that we have. Both of us, we share the same thing. It's like having an in-house team means that you have to bring 1 or 2 employees and try to train them and expect them to do everything. But it's just becoming more and more complex. The landscape has become so competitive also. And not to mention, I'm not even going to go into the topic of tariffs kind of relative to this, the time of this recording. Right now we're in the middle of this tariff madness, maybe not as much as last week or the week before that, but still people are figuring out what they're going to do about it. And I think that this is causing ripples in the market on a both consumer and seller level. I mean, we're seeing some categories buying has just dropped off. And in some cases, people are pricing sporadically. So you have to, you need the tools and the know-how in order to navigate that kind of landscape, right?
Yeah. Look, I cannot sit here and say that I'm an expert on how to solve the solution of if the tariffs get implemented, etc., which I hear a lot of other Amazon agencies say they do. No one has ever done this in a long time. No one knows how it's going to happen. But what I can tell you for a fact is some basic business good policies and practice. As with anywhere in business, when it comes to, because I also sell products on Amazon, so from that side of thing, if my manufacturing catches fire, what do I need to do? I need to have a plan B. I need to find a different manufacturer. So it's good to have a plan B wherever you source them from. From Europe, find one from Europe if China is no longer working. Find one from USA. Find one from Canada. Do this. You don't have time because you're a CEO. I get it, right? I understand. You understand. Time is limited. So get someone on Fiverr or even better on Upwork. Give them $500. They go out, sourcing agent. They find these people. They find these factories. They qualify them. So then you can do some meetings. That will help you. That will at least be one of the many Legos you're going to put together to somehow safeguard your business. And if it means for the first quarter or two, you will have an impact on your margin, then be it. Prepare for it from a cash flow point of view. And all the other things, as always, apply. Being more profitable on Amazon, yes, it works. Grow your sales, yes, it works. Of course, these are the no-brainer ones. But these are good practice to do in general, because we don't know what's going to happen realistically. It's all hanging from someone talking and someone else talking back, and then it just goes like this. So everything needs to settle down. But I think one thing that is evident is that the global supply chain and how you're restocking Amazon and in general marketplaces and so on is a bit more fragile. So it's good to have different options, right? That's what I see. I don't know if you agree with this point.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, and I think some people they don't plan for a plan B. Yeah. So when it hits, then it's like, ooh, shock. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. I mean, it's the old saying, and I think that applies across many facets of life, business, and everything.
You might have seen this a bit more on the agency side, because as agency owners, we do see, maybe sometimes our best person leaves, or someone, they go on maternity leave, or something happens, for example. So then first time that it happens, we're like, oh no. And then you kind of always plan for it. So then you're going to have someone more junior that has been trained. You have someone else, etc. Because we don't have that flexibility to say, oh, you know what, I cannot continue this service because I'm a man or two down, right? We always need to have this. So I think it's a bit more embedded on the services side than it is in manufacturing side. In manufacturing side and product side businesses, brands, they take it for granted that factory is always going to be there. It's always going to supply us with goods, etc., etc. So they kind of always don't deal with that part of the stream. They tend to focus more on the nicer things, which is like grow the brand, influencers, affiliates, all of that stuff.
I think if you don't have any intellectual property that you can carry over from one manufacturer to the other, it's a risk that you take as a brand owner. So that's the only thing where like not every factory will be able to produce the same product in the same quality for the same price. So that's, I think, like the difficult part of it all. It's like, if you have some type of mold, and then you can just send that mold over to another factory, then fine, any factory can do it for you. But right, it's like if you have something unique, how are you going to replicate that process, especially if you don't need to right away?
I agree with you, but if it's like something that I would say is it's also a money thing, right? I mean, Apple is moving their whole supply chain to different countries and moving them across. So, and it can happen. It's just a question of how much it's going to cost and how much time it's going to take. I remember one of the things that always amazed me when I first started selling on Amazon, and I went to Canton Fair in China, a classic place for many Amazon sellers, especially in the West, that started, was the supply. The factories there would say, "Show me what you want, and I'll make it."
Yeah.
So there is also that element. Molds are extremely cheap nowadays. I remember it used to cost a fortune to do molds.
Yeah, 30,000. Yeah, now because it's 3D printing. That's 3D, why.
Exactly. That's what. Yes. So and it's so easy now to do these things. So in which case, just speed things everything up. So in which case, again, it's the same idea. So how does this work? Find the list of possible factories. Have your assessment of create. Even ChatGPT can help you to put a version 1, and then you adapt it to your needs. 2, see how they communicate. Test their products. Send a sample of your product if they can create and send it back to you. All of those things further down the line will be places that actually you're not going to lose time or anything. It's going to safeguard your business regardless, because you don't know what backlog and things are going to change. Because maybe the other side now is not willing to supply anymore or export anymore, for example, because something might have happened. So it's good practice to do, in my opinion, finding your supplies from other countries.
Agreed. And Alex, I wanted to ask you, how are you guys leveraging AI for Amazon? Because Amazon is very different than, you hear like right now there's this like a whole GPT thing that they've made this updates about image generation. And now you see on LinkedIn, every other person is posting about it. I even had a post about it, just like how amazing it is that you can create ads for Facebook or whatever creatives that you need. I think with Amazon is a little different. It's not as easy or straightforward just to like use Chat GPT to like improve Amazon sales, right? But there are ways, and it's interesting. So any ways that you guys are kind of leveraging it both on the Amazon side or maybe even like in internal operations?
Yeah. So basically, I read somewhere that how we moved from hammer and nail to power tools. Okay. Yeah. Now, it might have been a bit difficult for people, and a lot of them also have a tendency to not want to use new tools. It's like, oh, I've always used the hammer, that kind of thing. But actually, it's more than a year now, a year and a half, that internally, I've deliberately said each department within our company has to use AI tools. We also give incentives to staff members when they bring new ideas on AI and how to use it and so on. Every single process has an element of an AI tool. Okay, that helps us in multiple ways because we can do things more efficient. We can do things faster, obviously, which is good. As long as obviously there's the manual check, so you have to be very careful with AI and not rely too much on it. You have to be very, very careful how it does things. And then also it helps us gain better insight on things that we weren't able to do before. So, for example, as I mentioned, every department, from PPC to content to data to account management, everything has it. Things on our monthly reports, so the one-to-ones that I have with my clients, we use those insights that come out of it from AI into those monthly reports. A very basic example I might say is, now I know Jungle Scout is kind of doing this nowadays, and some other people have caught on to it, but we've been doing this for about a year and a half, and I think there's probably other engines that did it even better than us. But Amazon is a gold mine for data. It's the third biggest search engine in the world. The reviews are very, very accurate and very true to a very big extent, right? As true as you can get with online reviews, but it's definitely, in my opinion, the best one
Definitely.
that you can find. Downloading them is pretty easy to do with tools. We all know those. So therefore, you can actually end up with a very big Excel of thousands and thousands of actual reviews from customers. Now, how you turn that with workflows, AI, what questions you ask, apart from the classic when people say, it's like, if you were to create a product, what you would create? In my opinion, that's a stupid question. The much better question is, what is 7 pain points people have? What is the percentage that they say this? Those are things actually and questions similar to this, that are actually going to help you produce better products, improve your existing brains, improve your content, and also fuel future R&D processes. So that's just one example of how we use, for example, AI.
Very cool. So you're treating Amazon, you're looking at it as a data source, and then you're saying, okay, we're going to take it differently, where back in the day, somebody might say, find me a good product. Now we're looking at, hey, we have all these tools. Why don't we actually discover what people are trying to solve for, and then we'll create the solution.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and that makes us more successful, right? Knowing the problem and then creating a solution for it, versus coming up with an idea out of the blue because we think, or because it's something that happens in our personal life, but we don't actually know if this is if there's a real demand for this thing, right? And I think most people don't see Amazon as a search engine, but 100% it is. And it's basically the Google of solving physical problems.
It's Google, YouTube, then Amazon in terms of biggest search volumes. It's the third biggest search engine in the world. So there's not a lot of conversation around the volume of traffic that goes in, which gives you also the consumer intent and data that you need. So that's something that a lot of, especially the very big brands and enterprise clients, they don't really understand that you're able to do this. Like, you saw them at Helium 10 and you're like, what? Helium 10? Now you can do that? And I'm like, yeah, okay, let me show you your competitors. Here you go. And then, like, by SKU and ranges and etc. So that, which is for us, is just basic stuff, right? We've been able to do this for a very long time. Now, if you take it another level and actually go inside the review side of things, then it's just and then another level. What do they say in Germany versus UK versus USA to basically fuel your product launch strategy? And obviously, customers use it differently, some products, or different occasions, or different localizations, I'll just call them. And that's taking it another level. So all of this is really fascinating because it's real data. And then you're asking AI, which is extremely powerful, to do the analysis based on that data. So that's where things become really powerful.
So you guys do and help with product ideation, creation, and no.
Yeah, well, not. I wouldn't say that we have, someone come. So normally we work with companies that do at least 2 million in Amazon, outside of Amazon, anywhere, right? Because we're not magicians here. If your product is not 4.2 stars and above, it's going to be very difficult to sell it on Amazon. So that's why established brands is much better ICP for us, and so on. Having said this, we've worked with startups, especially ones that raise funding and so on, because that's a different conversation in terms of the support they have to fuel the restocking of Amazon and sales and so on. So when it comes to ideas, usually this is for our existing clients that we have a very long relationship with. Literally, before this, I was talking to one of my clients, which is 4 years. I think he is the oldest client I have, or one of the oldest. And basically, it was this: it was two brands we're supporting on Amazon. It's going to launch another two. What are they? What should I be selling? What type, for example, let's say, I don't want to say it's a sector because it's a bit of a niche, but let's say it's socks to make it easy. Okay, what type of socks? Should it be like women, men? It should be for diabetes? No, what is the angle? What should it take for each country? All of those things. So that we do, the R&D part, etc., as part of our long-term relationship, because that's how I see bringing value to clients. Yes, there
Absolutely.
is Amazon and growing sales, but we also have a consultative approach in terms of what all of this gives us, and we can support them. So that's a lot of a very interesting aspect of the job, I would say.
Very cool. And if somebody wanted to reach out, where can they find you?
LinkedIn, I am very active there. So Alex Karagiannis. Also, they can reach out to me on info@lezzat.co.uk, or they go on our website, www.lezzat.co.uk. So any of those places, they're going to find me, and I'll make sure to reply on any questions or anything Amazon related.
Very cool. It was a pleasure speaking with you, Alex. I appreciate the nuggets of gold you shared today.
No problem at all. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye bye.